How's it going, everybody? It's Friday, June 7th, so let's talk PlayStation. E3 is just 3 days away, and even though it's only 3 days away where there's going to be game announcements and press conferences and show floor goodness, games are still getting announced. And what's crazy is, it's been 2 months now that, every single week a game has been announced for Vita or PS3 or for PS4. Well, it's still going on. Field Runners 2 has been announced for PS Vita, and this is another one of those popular iPhone games. It's making its jump to Vita. That's fine. Like I said before, I want these things to happen. That's good. But let's keep it moving. Stick It to the Man has been announced for PS3 and Vita. Not a whole lot of details about the game yet. It's kind of a action platformer. Kind of think about it like Tearaway, for example, but it's kind of going into a different direction. Coming out later this year. We don't know a whole lot about it yet, but new game. So there's Stick It to the Man, and now there's Tiny Brain. This is coming to the PlayStation 4, and this is these are from guys that worked on Dead Space and Assassin's Creed, and it's a puzzler, and it's coming to PS4. And then Z-Run got announced for PlayStation Vita. It's actually exclusive to PS Vita, kind of it looks like Temple Run, but you're running away from zombies, obviously, and that's coming to Vita. Now here's what's awesome about the next 4 games I'm going to talk about that are coming to PlayStation 4 that were announced this week, is that they're all PC games, and 3 of them are MMOs. First up, DC Universe Online is coming to PlayStation 4. This is actually a PS3 game, and it's a PC game. It's an MMO. A lot of people like it. It's got a good following to it. It came out, you had to pay to play, and then it went free to play. I believe it's free up now on PSN, but now if you want to continue your character and everything and move on to PlayStation 4, you can do that. It's coming to PlayStation 4. So DCUO is cool that it's moving to PS4, but now here's some stuff that probably would have never come to PlayStation. Planetside II is coming to PlayStation 4. Now, Planetside 2 is a very popular MMO, and it is coming to PS4 in 2013. So definitely a few weeks, months, possibly on launch day for PlayStation 4, which is good. I mean, this is exactly what I think Sony was going for when they designed PlayStation 4 and sold this thing to you February 20th when they revealed the PlayStation 4, is that they're building this thing like a PC. Games that would have taken months to port over are now going to take mere weeks, and it's clearly showing. And if you don't believe me on that one, another free-to-play MMO, Warframe, is coming to PlayStation 4. And again, this is currently an MMO that's already out. People like it, and it's free to play, and it's coming on launch day for PlayStation 4. So right off the bat, when you get your PlayStation 4, there's a free-to-play MMO for you. This is really interesting. This is the PlayStation 4 isn't even out yet, but this is exactly what Sony wanted. They want these PC games to come over. They want it to be easy to develop for, so games are being brought over so easily. In fact, Sony actually approached the developers of Warframe and said, hey, how do you guys feel about bringing this game to PlayStation 4? And they helped them. And this is what, again, this goes into how Sony is helping devs. They're bringing that push out there. They love indie developers. They love developers in general. They want to help developers. They want to give them money. They want to get their games onto PlayStation. Sony's being very aggressive with all this. Now, with all that said, Daylight is coming to PlayStation 4, and this is a game that was previously announced on PC, but now it's also coming to PlayStation 4. So Daylight's like this horror game, and it's using Unreal Engine 4. What's interesting is, we're a few days away from E3, but all these games are getting announced. Do you think Sony would have saved these for their press conference? It's really interesting. I mean, like I said, PlayStation 4 is still a good amount of time from actually being released, and a lot of games are getting announced for it, which is good, but a lot of these are PC games, and this is exactly what Sony wanted when they announced straight up, this thing's using PC parts and everything. It's going to be very easy to bring your games over, and it's coming over. I mean, look at all these MMOs that are coming over. Think about if Sony chose to make the PS4 internals, like the PS3, proprietary, cell processor, built from the ground up, new programming languages, all that stuff. You think all these games would have came over? There's probably no chance these games would have came over. I mean, MMOs never come to consoles. Now, of course, I don't know how it's all going to work. I mean, the free-to-play model still hasn't shown huge success on consoles, nor has MMOs shown huge success on consoles. But if it's this easy to bring games over to PlayStation 4, there's got to be some sort of reaped benefit to it, especially since the PlayStation 4 isn't out yet. We don't know the install base of the system, but it's good. It's bringing this industry some health. I'm excited. So not a whole lot of news outlets picked up this story, but basically a Swedish retailer that is actually quite reputable and trustable has posted their inventory, and got a couple people screen capped it because they pretty much shown in their inventory that they revealed a couple of crazy games that we don't know about. In their inventory page, they listed a bunch of games from Agent to Mass Effect 4 to Dragon Age 3 to Uncharted 4 to another MotorStorm in 2015 or 14. They listed Just Cause 3, Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy Versus 13. They listed a whole bunch of games, and then obviously it was quickly taken down, and there's only screenshots available now. But I find that interesting. A lot of times games are leaked from retailer postings. A lot of times. Now in the screenshots there's actually a couple of questionable listings on there that we know is not going to come. A couple, like a canceled project is on there. So, you know, it questions validity as to maybe they're just not keeping up with their stock inventory update page majigger, or they're just not, you know, or they're just predicting stuff and they think that it's going to happen. I mean, it's probably fake and not true, but as history has shown, a lot of online retailers actually leak some games. So it's interesting to possibly know about Uncharted 4 or Dragon Age 3 or Just Cause 3. These games are probably coming, but it's cool to see, you know, that it might actually come and we know that it's happening. I actually really hope it's true, only because of one game they listed on there, MotorStorm. I mean, come on, man, are there any MotorStorm fans out there? I loved MotorStorm. I mean, I'm kind of a huge fan. So not a whole lot of news outlets caught this one, and I'm surprised that not even IGN posted this on their US site, but Microsoft's global director was basically talking to IGN Spain, and he said in the interview that they were going to kill Sony at E3. The Microsoft employee was Craig Davidson, and he basically said straight up, we are going to kill Sony at E3 because we got a whole bunch of great stuff to show and blah, 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 blah. Point being, what I found really interesting about this is that an employee of the major company decided to say something like this in an interview. And just, you don't usually see something like that. Companies will never straight up, like, say, we're going to do this to another company, we're going to do that to another company. It usually makes huge headlines when companies outright attack another one, you know? Usually when a company does this, they use subtleties. They don't outright say they're going to do something, or in a commercial, they'll just do comparisons without naming names or something. Things like that. I thought it was really interesting that he just straight out said something like that. But hey, man, give me a reason to buy an Xbox One. I own all three systems. I'm probably going to own all three of them again. You know, just give me good reasons to actually invest that money. With all that said, guys, Sony does have a conference on Monday, the E3 press conference. And, of course, I will be watching it, and I will post a video. Once the conference is over, I'm going to be starting a video almost immediately. I'll be doing a very small, quick recap of everything that actually happened at the conference, and then, of course, general opinions on what I thought about it, blah, blah, blah. You know all that good stuff. E3 coverage. Awesome, right? And before we go, who's excited for The Last of Us? Hey, that concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Benecki. Thank you for talking with me, and I'll see you Monday for Sony's E3.